Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of July. I hope you will. I'll be using the Llewellyn Tarot for you today. It's rather nice to be free of Mercury retrograde, or at least mostly. We've still got the shadow period up until the 9th of July, but it has gone direct now, which is a huge relief. I hope it was kinder to you than it was to me. Let's have a look. Let's shut the window before I go any further, because obviously as soon as I start the video recording, all the cars turn up. So let's have a look and see. Can I have 3 cards for Libra, please? That was more than I wanted. I'll put those back. Try that one again. I have 3 cards for Libra, please. Thank you. So we have the 3 of Wands in your recent past. Thank you. We have the 7 of Wands in your current energy. What's coming towards Libra, please? Thank you. Ooh. We have the 4 of Wands. We don't. We have the 4 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups in reverse, which is an interesting set of cards. We've got the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I like this for you, Libra. I like it very much. The Ace of Wands, like all aces, contains, pure potential. It's the pure potentiality of whatever suit it represents. So the Wand suit for me is all about life and living. It's about experience. It's about those things that make your blood run a little hotter than usual, Let's get some clarifiers. We're going to go with the John Bauer, right. Interesting to note straight off the bat that there is no major arcana in here for you. It's all about what you are doing in the day-to-day. And I think that's probably a bit of a relief, because some of your readings have been a little bit intense of late. I like the fact that the Ace of Wands is here, because it feels like a kind of renewal. And sort of aces represent, right, a renewal of something. And sometimes that's just your vim for life coming back a little bit. You're kind of doing things that you enjoy, doing things that make you feel passionate about something. But let's get some clarifiers and see what's going on here. Can I have 3 of Wands, please? We have the 4 of Swords and the Page. God, I forgot the word for it there. Page of Cups. Now we have 7 of Wands, please. We've got the Tower. Interesting. 7 of Wands. And the 2 of Swords. And tell me about the 4 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups, please. We have, wherever that went, down here, we've got the 9 of Cups with the 8 of Wands and the 4 of Cups. This is really interesting. We've got the 6 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. That is the card that, for me, talks about the past, but it can talk about childhood, and it can talk about, the relationships that are important to you. But we'll come back to that, because I feel like it'll be more relevant a little bit later on. So in your recent past, you have the 3 of Wands. Now, this card is a card of action, like as all of the Wands cards are. It is a card of doing something, rather than thinking about it, rather than contemplating it, rather than, dreaming about it. It's doing things. And more often than not of late, I've seen this card indicate changed behaviour in some way, right? Starting maybe some sort of new regime for yourself. Picking up a new hobby, or possibly sort of overhauling the way that you do things. Maybe setting aside some time every day to do your books, something like that, rather than leaving it all till the end of the month. But it's clarified by the 4 of Swords and the Page of Cups. And 4 of Swords is a card of taking a break, taking a step back. It's a card of processing often, as it follows on from the Three of Swords, which talks about heartbreak. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily that you've been suffering some sort of heartbreak, but I do think that you've been doing a lot of processing of late, and some of that has necessarily involved a withdrawal by you. Now, it seems to me like whatever it is that has required processing from you has now been done. It has been completed, and you have found yourself at a point that is a point of acceptance that perhaps things need to change, things need to be done a little differently. And it feels, I actually feel quite peaceful about it. It feels like you've made your peace with this. You know, there were a few things that came up in the Libra readings of late that spoke about kind of like old wounds coming to the surface and things like that, and that's true for most signs at the moment. But I think you've done your wrestling with it, or at least it's mostly done, because in your current energy you've got the Seven of Wands. Now, that is a card potentially of being protective, but it is also a card of being a little bit defensive about something. And it's underpinned by the Tower and the Two of Swords. And it feels rather than this being some sort of triggering event where somebody, you know, triggers you into feeling defensive about something, it feels more like an understanding of why you have been like that in the past. Right, coming back to this Six of Cups again, why you have felt like that. Because the Tower, although it does indicate sudden and shocking energy coming in, and so we can see it for, you know, big dramatic life events like losing your job and stuff like that, it's mostly a card of course correction. Right? We've got that lightning bolt hitting the stone there, and it's like an epiphany coming in. And it's changing the way that you see things. And I think that it's changed the way that you see yourself quite a bit. Like, the Tower is an energy that takes away those things from your life that you don't need anymore. And perhaps for you, the defensiveness is a huge part of that. Because we've got it here with the Two of Swords. Now, if this was any other depiction of the Two of Swords, I might think quite differently about this. But this one has a boy getting ready to cut the head off a snake. Here. It feels like an identification of the ways in which you have been defensive in the past and what it is that you were trying to protect yourself from, because it probably wasn't the thing that was in front of you. It was something that was being touched that you were a little bit, defensive about. I'm going to pull another deck out here. Let's pull the Marigold out and see what this is referring to specifically. Tell me about the Tower, please. Thank you. Six of Pentacles. Five of Rings, Three of Cups. Yeah, there's got the Five of Cups here underneath as well. Interestingly. And the Five of Cups is all about a sense of loss, right? It's often focusing on the wrong things, in so much as focusing on the things that you have lost rather than the things that remain. And I do feel like this was a thing that was coming up for you quite a lot, Libra. But it seems like you've nailed it, right? The answers have come to you, because we have the Six of Pentacles, and I'm always pleased when I see this for Libra, even though it's earth energy, because of its meaning of balance and equilibrium and reciprocity, and really, you know, finding that level that is so important to you. It seems like you've achieved a really deep level of insight, very specifically towards something that you are defensive about. And I love the fact that the Page of Cups and the Four of Swords was there in your recent past, because it means that the ground has been properly ploughed for you to process this and release it, you know. And it could be that you've been carrying whatever this is around with you for a very long time. With the Five of Pentacles, you know, more five energy there, in addition to the Five of Cups twice. It's quite unstable, and it's not something that you would enjoy at all. And it would make sense why then, when something happened that triggered that, you would instantly go on the defensive, because you need that balance. The Three of Cups, it could be that it's that this realization that you've had here in the here and now has come by way of conversation with other people. They've said something and it's kind of started a cascade off in your mind that has led to an insight into you. But it could just be the way that you relate to people, what emotional support looks like to you as opposed to what it looks like to other people, and why there's perhaps an aspect of yourself that you did not allow yourself to be supported in, because it was quite important for you to do it for yourself, or because this guarded energy, this defensive energy kind of jumped up and bit before your conscious mind had a chance to process what was going on. So it's coming very much from a subconscious place, but it really feels like you're getting on top of it this month, or certainly are getting on top of it right now, should I say, Libra. In terms of what is coming towards you in July, we have the Four of Pentacles with the Five of Cups in reverse, and I actually like this because the Four of Pentacles is often a card of needing to release, but for you actually I think it's a case of learning what to hold on to, and what you're holding on to is this new stability that you found, because the Five of Cups in the reverse is a stabilization of what is that energy there. So where this is focusing on what has been lost and ignoring what remains, this then turns around. It's like taking that step back and realizing. I think the insight has been really, really pivotal here for you. Kind of realizing, you could be like decades down the line and not realize that you've been carrying around grief about something that has been, spectacularly unresolved, but your subconscious has taken it upon itself to kind of guard that and protect that. Like that's a sore spot. That bit there is really, really raw. So my subconscious is going to take care of that, and it'll stop me from getting to a point where I can't function in the day-to-day, because it's so destabilizing. It's like managing to maintain that point of focus on what remains, what is important, and it doesn't undermine the importance of what you've lost, but it's a much more comfortable way for you to carry this around, by seeing that there are things that still remain. There are many, many things that make your life a very valuable, very enjoyable place. And because you are focusing on what remains rather than what has gone, it's almost like it's bringing a renewed vigor to the way that you are living your life right now. I like the fact that underneath it here we have the Nine of Cups with the Eight of Wands and the Four of Cups, because the Nine of Cups is all about your personal happiness. It's a card of doing your own work. And I think that the last few weeks have really shown you some things that you need to work on. And when I say need to work on, I don't mean kind of like sat at a desk and go, right, I must write down all of my feelings, this sort of thing. It's not that kind of thing. It's like mulling it over and working out, how you feel about it. Maybe where you realise you got stuck in a bit of a loop in the way that you were thinking about it. Maybe you had not fully valued what was still remaining in your life, or not appreciated it for the value that it brought. Or maybe you just realised that your reactions were coming from a place of fear of losing stuff again, and so maybe you were kind of overdoing it and actually destabilising yourself in the process. But the Nine of Cups is a really beautiful card to see here with all of this, because it does talk about that mature processing of your own stuff, whatever it is, and this Five of Cups energy that we've got going on. Do you feel like you're reassessing perhaps where you put your energy, Libra? I think maybe you've realised that this has been a big energetic leak, and it's tiring, it's exhausting, and you don't really want that anymore. And part of what has been the snake for you, of which you're about to cut the head off, is working out how you put this into a place in your mind where you can move on, you can focus on the things that remain, you can focus on your own happiness and enjoying your life without undermining the importance of what you've lost to yourself, or without feeling like you've undermined it in some sort of way, like you've behaved in a way that is perhaps flippant and not commensurate with, you know, the feelings that you have about this. It can be quite a tense point, that trying to negotiate your way through it, but I think in July you're certainly managing it. We've got the Eight of Wands and the Four of Cups here. The Eight of Wands is a Sagittarian card, and it's very much about movement. You know, it can be an increase in momentum, it can be conversations. But with this Four of Cups here, in the John Bower, it's very different to a normal depiction of the Four of Cups. You know, rather than someone looking, you know, frankly, a bit pissed off and sulky and refusing to take a cup, we've got somebody who's having their hands to their heart, and they've got their head bowed with a smile on their face. You know, it's like it's a secret moment for them where they're really enjoying something. It feels like a change in perspective is going on for you here, Libra. So where the things that you have lost at one point would send you to that defensive place, you know, whenever you were reminded of it, now it's like you can take a moment for yourself to enjoy the memories, the feelings, I don't want to say of the good times, you know, but certainly focusing on the value that whatever that situation was, whether it was a person or, you know, whatever, brought to your life, rather than creating an empty space that is not allowed to be filled by anything else, because it would undermine, in your mind, the way that you felt about it. Like, it feels like a complete shift around for me here, Libra. You know, it's like getting to grips with the feeling of disloyalty that might have been low level, but certainly very powerful. Almost moving into guilt, perhaps, but definitely uneasy. It feels like you're reconciling that fully this month, Libra, and it's brilliant. It really is brilliant, because it does feel like it's reinvigorating you. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. If this has resonated with you, there is an extended. I'm going to go over to Vimeo and do that now. It's a quiet month for you, Libra, but that's what you need, I think, to finish processing this situation to its fullest extent. Okay, know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.